Hello and welcome back to Murderabilia Show and Tell. I have another really special episode with you guys today. This is another field trip episode, and with me I have Taylor from Cult Collectibles, the biggest Murderabilia seller in basically the world right now. And we are going to be covering the Brenda Spencer school shooting today. So buckle up because this is going to be a fucking wild ride. This is Murderabilia Show and Tell. So what can you tell us about the Brenda Spencer case?
So Brenda Spencer is a pretty unique school shooting case. It happened in 1979, which was one of the first U.S. school shootings, or at least one of the most notable first ones. Also unique in the fact that Brenda was 16 at the time, and female, obviously, which is not common of obviously serial killers or mass shooters or murderers in general. It tends to be a little more a male-dominated industry, so to say. But yeah, so she lived across the street from her elementary school, and a rifle that she got for Christmas propped it up in the window and was shooting people as they went into school in the morning. She killed 2 people, injured a lot of kids. There was a big SWAT standoff that lasted quite a while, and yeah, she was taken into custody. I think most notoriously, what she's known for is when she was taken into custody, and she was asked why she did it. She said, "I don't like Mondays. This makes the day exciting, or this helps the day pass," which then became popularized in the song "I Don't Like Mondays" by the Boomtown Rats, which, interestingly enough, allegedly, there isn't really, I've never seen evidence of this, but allegedly, when Brenda was in prison, she wrote a letter to Bob Geldof of the Boomtown Rats, who wrote the song, thanking him for making her famous and essentially getting her name out there and sort of propelling the what would have been just like maybe a mundane crime into way more of a piece of pop culture.
All right, well, we're going to fucking hit the road and check this out, so come along with us. Let's go.
Are there any kids hurt?
The shooting began around 8:30 a.m. A sniper was firing random shots at school children on their way to class at Cleveland Elementary. 8 children and 2 adults, the school principal and a custodian, were felled quickly. The principal and custodian would die. For a while, the sniper, 16-year-old Brenda Spencer, kept police at bay, firing from her house across the street from the school at anything that moved. A police trainee was shot while trying to assist a wounded child. Inside the school, 320 students huddled in the auditorium, and just before noon they were evacuated in buses. Anxious parents were reunited with their children. Police had the situation in hand now. While SWAT units approached and surrounded the house, police, parents, and friends negotiated with Brenda Spencer on the phone. She was armed with a .22 caliber semi-automatic with a scope and may have taken drugs and alcohol. She at first refused to talk surrender, claiming she could hold out for a week. But towards 3 p.m. it became a question of surrender or SWAT people storming the house after a tear gas barrage. Shortly after 3, the word was out that Spencer would give it up, and then she did. SWAT officers escorted her from the house to custody, and the long and terrible San Carlos sniper siege was over.
All right, we're hitting the road on our way to the Brenda Spencer house. How did you first learn about the case?
From House. You know the show House?
Yeah.
So there's an episode where this dude comes in and he's got like an issue with his brain, but he's like a piano savant.
Uh-huh.
And when House is trying to heal him, he like there's a point to this. It goes somewhere. He rolls in a piano and he plays the fucking intro to I Don't Like Mondays. You know, the do 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 boo boo boo. It's like a very like complex kind of thing, right?
Uh-huh.
Then the guy who's never played it before plays it like by ear immediately. he's trying to figure out like why certain brain functions work a certain way and why he can do this but he can't do that. Anyway, the point is, and I was like, oh, I know this song. It's a really good song. So I looked at the song, right? And I was like, oh, I've heard this a bunch of times. I Don't Like Mondays by the Boomtown Rats. But I didn't really know the backstory to it. And when you look up the song on like, when you just like look up the song, all this shit about Brenda Spencer comes up because, yeah, she famously was quoted as saying when she was arrested, I don't like Mondays. This breaks the monotony, or this makes the day exciting, or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she, so 16, a lot of unique things about her crime, right? She was 16. She did the shooting from inside of her house. I don't know of any other shootings where somebody was in their own house shooting out. At a school, especially. It was like a school shooter who wasn't in the school, or at the school, who was across the street. She also was 16, which is unusual. She was the first female school shooter ever, and one of the only female mass shooters ever. I can't think of anyone else right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a case where there's a lot of unique things happening. She's still in prison now. She's regretful of what she did, it seems. When people had about interviews with her and stuff, she had kind of a bit of a recluse. She doesn't really write much. She's a little private, I guess, in her adult life, which makes sense because, like, it's like with the girl who was in Matilda, right? Mm-hmm. She was out of the public eye for so long because she just hated people being like, "Oh, Matilda was great," and she like compared it to, she was like, "What if you did a drawing when you were 6 years old, and then for the rest of your life, everybody was like, wow, that's a great drawing. Like, every time they saw you, like you're just living to this one thing that you've done." So yeah, I think she's just known for that, I think, and that's why she kind of keeps to herself and has like some close friends as she writes, but doesn't really do too many interviews or anything now. She did some stuff when she was younger, but.
So the whole thing to you, 14 years later, is just this drugged out haze, basically.
Yeah, it's really broken up and fragmented. I can't sit there and tell you, well, at this time I did this, and at this time, it's just little bits and pieces that have come back over the years. Like the week prior, that one, I don't really have many memories from that week ahead of the incident. And the week after, I was asleep. I was coming down off the street drugs, and even that week, I don't really have a whole lot of memories of it. It's like I slept a lot, and I was going through withdrawals and things.
Yeah, it's going to be cool to see the house. It's the same house, I believe. I think it might even be the same color. They haven't painted it. And it's interesting to think about, because like the Heaven's Gate mansion we were just at was, that happened in 1997. At some point since then, they demolished it and rebuilt a different house. This house has been there since 1979. And then however long before that, it looks to be the same on Google Maps from what I can tell. So it's really stood the test of time, which is interesting. I bet like in that time period, there's lots of people who have rented it who didn't even know the story about it, just because it's kind of so far disconnected from present day. But yeah, it should be cool. It's like, I've never been to like a shooting crime scene place, like any like school shooting or mass shooting area. So this is gonna be the first one of those that I
think this is going to be the first for me as well. I don't think I've been to anything where there was a shooting.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure I've been to places where a person has been shot or something, but this is like a big event. So it should be cool, as long as they don't get kicked out immediately, because it's just the front of somebody's house. It's a lawn, right? So
yeah, we
don't have like a long driveway.
Hanging out in front of someone's fucking yard.
Yeah, taking pictures and videos of their house, which I can imagine would be a fucking pain in the ass.
And the school's gone, so we're just gonna look like fucking weirdos. But.
Yeah, we could say that we're in the market. We're gonna make an offer or something. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we look like people interested in buying a house.
Yeah, we look like people who can afford buying a house for sure, 100%. We look like a bank would definitely give me a massive fucking loan if I walked in.
Brenda Spencer told me what she did that day was not first-degree murder, which takes planning. but the lesser crime of manslaughter.
I don't sit here and plan on how to go out and kill people and stuff like that. That's just not, that's not how I am or who I am. And how it was presented, and it made me look like that.
There were allegations that Brenda Spencer got the rifle, loaded it, planned all of this, and shot those people.
Yeah, and they made it look like, you know, just for the fun of it and stuff, which is totally senseless. There's, every day I live with, you know, the knowledge that I took the lives of 2 men. And that's real difficult.
Right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I learned about the case as well. I was actually, that song Pumped Up Kicks. I was like looking into that song, and then I found, I think, a list of like music that's inspired by, I don't know, different tragedies that have happened.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot. Eminem has a song about the Vegas shooting. It's pretty grim.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, mass shooting songs specifically are pretty abundant. And then Nicholas Cruz, who did the Parkland shooting, was listening to Pumped Up Kicks on his headphones while he was doing the shooting, which I assume was not the intended point of that release, right? I think a lot of people don't even know that song is about a school shooting to begin with, because it's just so catchy and upbeat. Yeah, it kind of came full circle there. I can imagine that would be a grim thing to find out as a musician, that like the song you wrote that was supposed to like do, you know, provide some kind of exposure or awareness of school shootings was a favorite song of a school shooter who listened to it during another school shooting, right?
Yeah. And like right before we started recording, I just like put on some music, and fucking Leftover Cracks, Rock the 40 Ounce just came on too.
Yeah.
So it's just
Columbine.
It's in the fucking air right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm excited. Let's fucking check this shit out.
Yeah, it's gonna be spooky. Oh shit, there it is. There it fucking is. Their door's open. God damn it.
Which one is it? This is where the school was. Ironically, there's a school bus right there. But we're right by the house. Right behind us right here. So Brenda Spencer was pointing a rifle outside of the window and shooting at teachers, shooting at students.
Principal and her janitor, yeah, no kids.
Yeah, the principal and the janitor died, but she was aiming at children, so pretty bleak. Yeah.
I realize that nothing I do and no amount of time will bring Mr. Ragg or Mr. Suker back. And it won't erase the fear and stuff that I've given to those kids, Mr. Rob. I just want them to know that I'm very sorry. And I don't know how to make it up to them. But I try every day to make myself a better person, so that, because I don't want anything this horrible to ever happen again.